It's Wednesday, January 3rd. I'm your host, Sarah Beal. Happy New Year, everyone. On today's show, we will check in with Police Chief Paul McDonald. Then we'll talk with Town Clerk Ann Quirk about the upcoming town census. Then finally, we'll talk with Glenn Cannon from the Cape Cod Commission about some projects that Mass DOT is looking at here in Barnstable. But first, let's get a look at today's top headlines. The Public Health Division will hold another flu clinic this month. If you still need a flu shot, the clinic will take place on Thursday, January 20th from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. The fee is just $3, and if you have any questions, please contact the Health Division at 508-862-4644. The Barnstable School Committee has an opening for a 4-year term for one seat. According to the town charter, there's a 30-day window of opportunity to fill this position. Anyone interested should reach out to the school committee or to your town councilor to express an interest. The Marine and Environmental Affairs Division would like to remind everyone that renewal season is here. All mailings have been sent out and must be returned by their due dates. Any questions or concerns, please contact the Marine Environmental Affairs Division at 508-790-6273. The DPW Snow and Ice brochure is now available on the town website and right here at Town Hall. The brochure gives you all the information you need on how the DPW operates during a snow and ice event. It also gives you tips on how you can help make their job easier. Pick up one today or view it on the town website at townofbarnstable.us. Coming up, we'll chat with Police Chief Paul McDonald. Chief, thank you so much for joining us today. The first thing we want to talk about is it's been extremely cold these last couple of days, and I know that a big thing that you guys are working on is making sure that the homeless are safe because it is so cold. What can you tell me about what the Barnstable Police Department is doing?
A couple of weeks ago, in preparation for this, we met with representatives from FinFin and other outreach workers who were concerned about some of the homeless individuals who refuse to go in the shelter for whatever reason, who would prefer to stay outside. We have a pretty good working knowledge of where all the camps are, so we have decided to go out for every night for the past 8 days. We've had a team of officers go out and check all the wooded areas around town, around Nantucket Street, Old Colony, down off Old Yarmouth Road, down by the watershed, down on the airport property, down on Hathaway's Pond. And the officers are actually out there, walking through the woods trying to find any camps that are out there. If there are individuals out there, if any of them are being inhabited by individuals, we want to pick them up. And if they don't go to the shelter, bring them to a friend's house or bring them to a motel. Duffy Health Center, they do have money. They are more than willing to pay for a hotel room on these real cold nights. Our biggest fear is anyone dying out there from exposure. The longest day of the year, on December 21st, everybody gets together at Federated Church and to celebrate the lives of individuals who have died the past year who are homeless. About 3 or 4 years ago, we had possible about half a dozen individuals who died from exposure of being out in the woods, and that's a tough way to go. And we've been desperately trying to prevent that from happening again. So on these cold nights, the police officers themselves are actually out in the woods, walking through all the wooded areas, trying to find anyone who might be out there living in the camps.
Yeah, it's. I can't even imagine being out in this kind of cold weather. Just walking in this morning, it was 5 degrees, so I can't even. It gets even colder at night.
It gets even colder at nighttime with the wind chill factor. But they are out there. They did locate several individuals. And these are individuals who just simply refuse to go to the shelter, or they're not allowed back in the shelter because of disruptive behavior. Right. But the officers pick them up, and we will drive them anywhere on the Cape. Take them to a friend's house, take them to a relative's house, or we'll take them to a motel. Put them up for the night. But they can't stay in the woods. This is why we have the policy zero tolerance for any homeless camps on the Cape. It's just people are not going to survive the winter like this.
No, and like you said, it's not the way anybody wants to go. And like you said, there are people that just don't want the help, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't get help and they shouldn't be helped in some way.
The chronic homeless like that, they're suffering from some type of addiction or some type of mental health issues, and sometimes they're dual diagnosed, and they're extremely difficult to deal with. But even a night like this, it's inhumane to leave them out in the camps. I know some people think they're trying to help them. Well, they walk through the woods and they're giving them tents and they're giving them sleeping bags, and all they're doing is enable them to stay out there, and that's not what you want to do. You want to get them out of the woods and into a shelter.
Right. If anybody knows of any homeless that are still out, would you recommend that they call the police department and
call the police department?
Yeah.
Our team of officers work with all of the outreach workers, and we will get them into services they need, and we'll get them into some type of temporary housing, if not the shelter, at least into a motel room, at least somewhere where it's warm. Or we'll give them a transportation anywhere they want to go.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Chief, for telling me about that. I also wanted to talk about, there's been a missing girl. You know, I've seen it. It's been all over Facebook.
Yes.
Haley Allen has been missing for about a week now, I believe.
Yes. Yes. We've had no updates regarding the missing person now for quite some time. It has been assigned to Detective Division, and they are following up any and all possible leads. We do not suspect any type of anything that happened to her. You know, she left voluntarily, so now we just have to try to track her down.
Okay, wonderful. I just wanted to mention it, get her picture up on the screen so that if any of your viewers see her, maybe they can give you guys a call. The last thing we wanted to talk about is Sergeant Sweeney. I can't believe this is retiring this Thursday.
Sergeant Sweeney, his last roll call will be this Thursday, January 4th at 7:45. He will come in and do his final roll call. He's been here for 36 years. He started here. He transferred from the Falmouth Police Department. He worked for Falmouth for 3 years, and before that he was summer officer here. So he's done almost 40 years of service in law enforcement. And Thursday will be his last and final day. He's a good man, and we're going to miss him.
Wow, I can't believe it. I remember when I started working for the town, Sergeant Sweeney was kind of like the go-to guy anytime that there was an event or there's a press conference. He was always the one that you saw. He was definitely the face of the police department for a really long time.
He's been a public information officer for a long time, and everybody knows Sergeant Sweeney.
Yes, they do.
He's a good man. We will miss him desperately.
Well, congratulations, Sergeant Sweeney. I hope he enjoys retirement. And is there anything else you want to talk about before I let you go?
That should do it.
Okay, thank you so much, Chief. I look forward to chatting with you again next week.
All right, talk to you then.
Have a nice day.
Okay,
bye.
Bye-bye.
My guest today is the Chief of Police, Paul McDonald. Coming up next, we'll chat with Technical Services Director of the Cape Cod Commission, Glenn Cannon. But first, I talked to Ann Quirk about the upcoming town census. Ann, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to talk about the census. The town does a census every year, and you're going to start gearing up for that in January. What can you tell us about the census?
We have started working with the folks that are sending it out for us, and in this year, something different is that the Senior Center is also going to put in an insert with the census, so they're looking for information as well. The census is a mandate through the state of Massachusetts, and every city and town sends it out because we need to keep track of our voters, and we need to keep track of how many children there are out there that may be coming to school next year. And those are the kinds of things we're looking for with the census.
Mm-hmm. And with looking at those kind of things, what are the reasons that the town needs to have that information every year?
Well, you know, things change from year to year. People move into town, people move out of town. The other thing is that sometimes people forget to put their children on the census. So all of a sudden, one year we may get a whole family on there, and we just had the husband and wife. So it's important because we need to know how many children are going to attend school. What do we need for grades? What do we need for teachers? It's all one big ball.
Mm-hmm. And it's also a good way to know how many people are living in town,
Correct.
Where those people are living in town.
Correct.
It's not really a concern about who you are. It's just where you are.
Where you are.
Yeah.
Because as you know, we have so many different school districts, you know, within our schools, we have so many different locations, I should say. So, yeah, it makes a difference.
Mm-hmm. I know sometimes people get confused because they hear census and they think the national census, but this is something that the town does every single year. It goes out, you'll get it in the mail. Mm-hmm. If you get it in the mail and you lose it, you can come into town hall and you can fill out a form here. Can you get forms at other locations?
They can call us on the phone and we can send one out, or we could just talk with them and just verify that everything is the same as it was the previous year. So we do have that information on a computer for us, and we do look for people to just sign it if nothing's changed and send it back to us. The libraries sometimes collect them for us. Just pop in and see us, give us a call, but just sign it, and that way we know everything's the same. If someone's moved, if someone in your family has moved, one of your children got married and they've moved away, we need to know because we need to take them off the census.
Right.
So that's all important information for us.
And it's also a way to make sure that you stay on the active voter list.
Very, very important for that. You will find out now in 2020, we're going to have another presidential election. Hopefully everybody will have sent their census back, so we'll have everybody where they should be, so there won't be the tie-ups and the lines of people waiting to vote because they haven't voted in 4 years and they haven't sent in a census. And
it's important.
It's important.
And like you said, even if nothing has changed, you should still turn it in. It's not one of those things, oh, well, nothing's changed. I live in the same place, you know.
Right.
Everything's fine, so I don't need to send it in. You still need to send it in. It's so easy. Sign it, send it back in. If you're in town hall, drop it in the box that you guys have in the first floor area. Very easy. So when should people start seeing those coming in the mail?
Probably the first week of January. That's what we're gearing towards.
Will they all go out once, or is it a rolling?
No, they'll all go out at once. So we're looking at that time frame. But of course, right now, because of Christmas and the holidays and things that are happening, we really didn't want them to go out in the mail before the end of December, the beginning of January, because then they have the possibility of getting lost in the mail.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're hoping that towards the first week of, second week of January, they should stop rolling out.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. There's so much extra mail coming in, and packages, and cards, and flyers, and everything else that you get at this time of the year. So it's important to make sure that it's, you know, people are aware of it, they see it, they get it, and it takes 2 seconds. It doesn't take much time at all.
And it really doesn't. And this year we're going to have a different color envelope for them to put their census into, to return it to us, so that it stands out for us and we can take it right out of the mail and make sure we take care of our part of it.
Excellent. Another thing we wanted to chat about today is Margot Weber stepped down from the school committee last year. She had just run for re-election, so that leaves a hole on the school committee. What's going to be the process moving forward to fill her position on the school committee?
Well, I have received her letter of resignation, which was step one. I've notified the school committee and the town council so that they're aware that I have the resignation letter, and now we have a window of 30 days that we have to do something about this. So what will happen is, if people are interested, please contact either your town councilor or the school committee and let them know you are interested, because they will be looking at people to see who is interested to take this position. It is for 4 years. You will complete her term, and it's something that's vital to the school system and to the town. So as long as you're a voter in the town of Barnstable, you can actually put your name in for this. And I don't know exactly when the town council and the school committee are going to meet, but we have a time frame we have to follow. So everyone is aware of the time frame, and we're just going to try and work around this to get everything done within 30 days.
So this will be a joint appointment from both the town council and the school committee. They will get together and decide who that they're going to appoint. Are they going to have do you know if they're going to plan on having a special meeting, or?
Well, that's what I'm assuming they're going to do first, is have a special meeting. And it will be open to the public.
Yep.
So as soon as we know that, it'll go up on the website.
Wonderful.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a process, but it sounds like, you know,
It is.
everyone's going to do their best to find the best candidate for the position. And like you said, if anyone out there is interested, they can contact the town council or the school committee and let that be known, so that, you know, they can be considered for that 4-year position. It's, you know, it's a long term.
It is.
So it has to be, you know, serious candidates only.
Serious, definitely.
Wonderful. Ann, is there anything else you'd like our viewers to know about before I let you go?
You may be getting phone calls. You may see some mail coming through regarding the 2020 census, which is the federal census. And that's the one where they go out door to door. So if you should start hearing things, it's because they're gearing up for it. We're already on board here at the town, as all the other towns in Massachusetts. So things are starting to happen towards that one. So don't be surprised if you start getting mail and they're asking questions. It's okay.
Yep. The big census is coming. We got
The big one.
We got a few years to go, but everyone in the town should be ready because we do our annual census every year. So.
We do.
Thank you so much, Ann, for coming down and chatting with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks. My guest today is Ann Quirk. She's the town clerk here in the town of Barnstable. Glenn, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a while since you've been here.
It has been, yes.
Steve's been filling in, and he's been doing a great job.
Yeah, a lot of meetings up in Boston, as a matter of fact. So, very important part of the job.
Yes, but thank you for joining us today. We have a couple things we're going to talk about. Let's start first with a Mass DOT Route 28 and Pitchers Way. I know this is it's been talked about before. The intersection at Burses and 28 is completely being redone, and then maybe one of the next intersections to look at will be the 28 and Pitchers Way.
Correct. MassDOT, we've done a great job of working with MassDOT, of taking on these problem intersections, kind of moving our way down Route 28. This is one that the Cape Cod Commission looked at a couple of years ago. Now MassDOT's going to take it over. Very similar to what we did at Route 28 in Katuitt. Cape Cod Commission goes out first, kind of gets feedback from the public, then MassDOT comes in with the project. So Route 28 Pitchers Way, a problem intersection, been a problem for a number of years. MassDOT's going to step it up and do some, you might see some surveying crews out there right now, measuring the width of the roadway, where the right-of-way line is right now. And then MassDOT's going to come forward with a project that will improve the intersection for safety as well as congestion, and also make it more bike and ped friendly. One nice thing about all MassDOT projects is they require sidewalks on both sides of the road. They require bike lanes. There'll be a multi-use path because there's already a multi-use path on Route 28. So there'll be a big change for that area. And we'll get them to. We'll talk to them right now about maybe even moving further down towards the high school entrance there, the back entrance to the high school, or another problem area of Route 28. But MassDOT is stepping up and trying to address these problems for us. So it's a good thing for us.
That's wonderful. That's a intersection I frequent. I live right in that area, and it's there's no left turn lanes, and there's it's always congested, especially in the afternoon because you have the schools getting out, and it's just a busy spot.
Right, and that's one of the things they'll be looking at. Put in left turn lanes there and protected phases for it. Again, making sure that the kids can cross the road.
Yep.
I know we went out and looked at that back entrance to the high school a couple of years ago. The kids are walking on, I want to say, the north side of Route 28 where there isn't a multi-use path because they don't feel like they can safely get across the road.
Right, so they cross where it's safe.
Right, there's a multi-use path on the south side there. They don't feel like they can safely cross the road. They're walking, in the dirt. You can see what we call the goat paths, the little paths they made along the road. So, MassDOT should be fixing up that intersection. It'll be vastly improved, very similar to Route 28 and Burses Way. Where you see these significant improvements here, and that's good for everybody. Particularly in that area, it's you see a lot of people walking, you see a lot of people biking. The high school is close by, very walkable neighborhood. So it should be a walkable and bikeable location also.
Yeah, definitely, and it should be good. Like you're saying, there should be a few more crosswalks along that section because, like you said, you said it exactly. It's like the kids get out of school, and it's either walk down the multi-use path and then cross, and it's a little dicey, or cross and there's no sidewalk for them. So I think that's great that that's going to be included when they look at the other intersection.
Correct. It really is. You have to look at where people need to cross the road and where they should be cross the road, and making it safe for them. Very similar to the Route 28 Burses Way. Where MassDOT came forward with a project that I felt was the safest project to bring forward. Maybe not be the most convenient, but they wanted people to cross at the traffic signals so people can walk up there, push the button, stop traffic, and cross the road. I know it's not as convenient. You have to walk down to the traffic signal to cross, but it is the safest method to let people cross the road. And again, so what you have here, you have Route 28 Pitchers Way, and then the next one isn't until Strawberry Hill. So you have quite a distance there. So we'll probably need to look in between there for a couple locations because, geez, I don't know, is that a mile? I want to say it's probably it's quite a distance.
It is,
and that's a long distance to walk.
It is.
We try to keep it somewhere in like the 500-foot range for people to walk because other than that, they'll just they'll do what's most convenient.
Right.
But try to make it safe for them.
Wonderful. What's the timeline looking? Are you going to be looking for public feedback on this?
Exactly. That's what we'll be doing upcoming this year, 2018. We'll be looking for public feedback on this project just to get people's ideas, what they want to see. Again, the first step is to go out and do the surveying to see what impacts are going to be, personal property, whether or not it's going to be all done within the right-of-way, always a big question, what can be done within the right-of-way. Whether or not we should be reaching out to the town of Barnstable about Pitcher's Way itself, too. You know, again, MassDOT will take care of Route 28. They'll take care of the approaches to Route 28, but Pitcher's Way itself will be a town road, so, you know, whether or not we can coordinate, very similar to what the town did with Bierce's Way. Again, MassDOT fixes up Route 28. They fix the approaches to it, but it's up to the town to complete the multi-use path along Bierce's Way up to Route 132, I believe, right? Going all the way up. So, you know, the town's been very responsive to that, very good about working with MassDOT on these projects and coordinating the projects. As, you know, as thankful as we are that MassDOT comes forward and takes care of these projects, there is an impact. You know, Route 28 in Bierce's Way has been under construction for quite some time now. You know, it becomes difficult to travel at times, so we want to lessen that impact from the construction. So
wonderful. So we also want to chat about Route 6. There's a couple of things that you're kind of looking at: acceleration and deceleration lanes, as well as paving shoulders.
Correct. So another project that MassDOT has asked us to take a look at and kind of reach out to the public, it's the acceleration and deceleration lanes at the exits on Route 6. And they've asked us to take a look at quite a stretch of Route 6 from even the Sagamore Bridge all the way out to exit 12 on the Mid-Cape Suicide Alley out there. But we'll be coming out to the town of Barnstable, you know, really focusing on exits 4, 5, and 6, and the acceleration and deceleration lanes there. You know, what people feel about that. I'll tell you that the trade-off will be, you know, we're looking at an analysis right now to see how many trees will be impacted, how many trees will be cutting down. MassDOT has told me they don't want to be out there cutting down. You know, they're not going to be clear cutting trees. But if there's selective trees, if we think it's a manageable number, you know, we're going to ask them to move forward with that project also. Part of that is paved shoulders for Route 6. You know, this section of Route 6 has a gravel shoulder, dirt shoulder. You know, it isn't the best thing in the world for traveling public. You know, if you need to pull off the road, it's safer to be on a paved surface. You know, it's also for storm water. The water builds up, and the water can build up on a paved shoulder as opposed to being built up in the travel lane. You know, I drive Route 6 quite a bit every day. You know, we have thunderstorms every year. You know, we have about a dozen of them. Route 6 always floods out. There's no place for the water to go. It stays in the travel lane. You know, they're very intense storms, so that shoulder would help with that. You know, in the wintertime, again, if it does flood out, you know, now potential freezing, very hazardous, so a paved shoulder can help with that. But, you know, there's always trade-offs, there's always impacts. That's why we're doing this analysis. Again, we'll come right here probably to Barnstable Town Hall, talk to residents, whether or not they feel as though the benefits of that paved shoulder outweigh the impacts of it. And we'll hopefully have an analysis how many trees we think will be cut down, you know, wetland impacts, you know, the types of impacts you'd normally expect. But someone will have to make a hard decision. So that's one of the projects we'll be looking at this spring. Yeah,
there's a lot coming up this year. It's going to be really busy. Make sure you let us know when you're going to have these open meetings for people to come in and talk about, you know, what they like, what they don't like.
I certainly do, and that's one of the reasons why we appreciate this forum, because that's, you know, I can tell you, MassDOT does not want to be on the front page of the newspaper. They don't want to be in the press about cutting down trees. They really want to hear from residents, and if the residents don't feel as that it's appropriate, you know, they'll back off. They won't take these projects on. You know, trust me, we work with them a lot. They want to do good things for us. And they want to make sure they hear from residents. They really do. So we appreciate these opportunities.
Great. Well, Glenn, thank you so much for joining us today, and I look forward to chatting with you again maybe next month.
Yes, thank you, Sarah.
My guest today is Glenn Services. He's the Technical Services Director at the Cape Cod Commission. Now let's take a look at this week's community calendar. On Saturday, January 6th at 2 p.m., the Cotuit Library hosts engineer Brian Leach, an early boomer who turns to literature for insights that will help explain the turbulent 60s. His journey eventually leads to the Greeks and Homer. Homer's Iliad, Book 1, The Quarrel, will be used as backdrop to help explain the roots of the revolution. This program is free, but please register at cotuitlibrary.org/events, or you can contact the library directly at 508-428-8141. The Hyannis Public Library will be hosting a new book club. The American History Book Club will meet on Tuesday, January 9th at 4 p.m. to discuss this month's book club selection, Rise of the Rocket Girls, the Women Who Propelled the U.S. from Missiles to the Moon to Mars, by Nathalia Holt. If you love reading and talking about American history, then you don't want to miss your chance to talk about this riveting true story of the women who launched America into space. This program is free and open to the public. There are just a few meetings this week. Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission will meet tonight at 6:30 in the Selectmen's Conference Room here at Town Hall. And on Thursday, Site Plan Review will meet at 9 a.m. in the Town Hall Hearing Room. And then Town Council will meet at 7 p.m. also in the Town Hall Hearing Room. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow with an all-new show. On tomorrow's show, we will talk with Town Council President Eric Steinhilber, and we will also catch up with Town Manager Mark Ells. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Beal.